Hey, 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 what's up, everyone? Happy Thursday evening to you all. I hope you guys are ready for a little fun watch-along, a little wrestling hangout. Why not? We're all quarantined, we're all self-isolating, and have been so for the past 5 to 6 weeks, and I had a really awesome Patreon-sponsored video to do tonight, and it's going to be a watch-along. We're going to take a look back at an old ECW episode from 2006, and thought if you guys want to follow along on the network, that would be fun. But first of all, just want to say hello before we get into the details of what we're doing here. We're going to shoot the shit for a little while, see if some people start gathering in to the chat here, give them time to pull up the WWE Network and get the show all prepped and ready to hit play, and we'll do that in a little bit. In the meantime, I'm just going to hang out with you guys and say hello. Steve Myers, thank you, man, for the $5 for the Stella. Got one right here. Drinking that now. Thank you very much for the super chat, man, right off the bat. Let me make sure I can be heard. We're going to shoot the shit for a little while. All right, we looking good to me. What's going on, Big J, JL, Ben Espiniza, Big Mike, Wrestling Recap Show. Good to see you, man. Another top patron that joined today. Go check out his YouTube channel and podcast and all that jazz. How wheezy? Good. I got some monkey wrenches in here. Chat site forums. Nice to see you as well. Sonny, Ian, Mick, Chris, Toxic. There's Barry. All right, and Barry MK400, the other moderator up there. He is the one that has sponsored this YouTube video. Now, of course, I have told you guys about some of the Patreon tiers available right now over on the Patreon page, and one of them is, sorry, I'm reading this comment down there. Excuse me. So sorry. One of the options is to have a live stream done on a review or maybe a watch along or something like that. And Barry wanted me to take a look at this ECW episode from all the way back in like the sci-fi days. And this was an interesting time in 2006 because we were right off the heels of the big Rob Van Dam arrest and right on the heels of Kurt Angle leaving and going to TNA. So this was not a great time in the company during the relaunch of ECW. It was almost a failure upon, from day one, which really sucked because I had high hopes for the thing. But it's still an interesting time considering the card that's on the show. CM Punk debuted on this event and all the things kind of surrounding this time period. I think it'll make a really fun kind of watch along today. We should have a good time doing it. Go support Barry. He's got a YouTube channel. We got the link right down in the description below. His Twitter handle is down there as well on the screen. And like I said, we are going to be reviewing August 1st, 2006 ECW. So pull that up on the WWE Network. Seems like it takes forever to find things these days on the network. Took me a while to actually locate this show. But I think I went to In-Ring and then I scrolled all the way down to all the promotions, found ECW, and I found the WWE version of ECW, I should say, and they listed all the episodes there, and that's really the only way you're going to be able to follow along here. Another thing that I'm going to do to make it easier for you guys is right underneath my face. Let me pull it up here. I've got a second camera fixated on the timer right here, so we're going to leave that at 0 here and then hit play, but unfortunately I can't leave that up the whole time because the timer goes away when you take your hand off the mouse. So I'll basically give you guys a peek of the camera on and off, kind of like this throughout the throughout the watch along. That way, if you are buffering for any reason or if you have any delays or lags, as a matter of fact, when I was just testing this out, I buffered for about 10 seconds. So it's going to be tricky to follow along here. It's hard to do watch alongs in a live format, but I think this will work. And if anybody needs a timer, peek at the timer, just say so in the chat and I'll pull it up here, and I'll do this several times throughout the watch along to try to make it as easy as possible for you guys to follow along with me. I will not be having headphones in. I'm going to actually watch this. I'm just going to keep the volume very low. I tested it. I don't think it's going to be loud enough to get picked up or have any copyright issues. It's pretty low, and plus, I'm going to be flapping my trap most of the time during the show anyway, so I don't really think that's going to matter. And yeah, we're just going to see how this works. If this works out okay, people like it, people enjoy it, I'll do more of these. Totally. I've done some watch-alongs in the past, but never a live watch-along. I've always pre-recorded them and tried to edit them in such a way that it would be really, really easy for you guys to follow along at home. So this one, we're going to try to have to wing it here and watch it together. So basically, just pull it up somewhere on another device, pull up the WWE Network as my cat jumps around, get that ECW August 1st episode pulled up from 2006, and then here in just a little bit, we'll do a countdown and we'll all hit play together. And that's the plan. I'm going to scroll. I know, buddy. Shit, my cat's looking at me. I take away their litter box before I do live streams because they make a shit ton of noise when they're in there, and he looks like he's got to go. It's not in there right, man. You got to hold it for like an hour. Sorry, buddy. Anywho, so that's how this is going to work. We'll see how it goes. Should be fun, though. Gives us something to do on a nice random-ass Thursday night. I did check out AEW and NXT last night as well and watched the Dr. D. David Schultz Dark Side of the Ring. That was crazy. Nothing I really didn't know about, but man, it makes you want to slap the shit out of John Stossel, doesn't it? My God, what a dick. A Level, good to see you, man. Thank you for the $5. I appreciate the support. Cheers to you, man. Oh yeah, thank you for that, Barry. One thing I want to apologize for this past Monday is I had all kinds of trouble trying to advertise this episode. First of all, I thought I misled you guys on Monday during the Raw review. I had said that on Thursday we're going to do a watch along from a previous Raw episode from 2006 because Barry's initial message, for some reason, I thought it was a Raw episode, so he kind of DM'd me to remind me, we're not watching a Raw, we're watching an ECW. So those of you who did tune in on Monday and heard me say that, I apologize for misleading you there. This is an ECW episode, and that's what we're going to be watching. It's only 45 minutes long, super easy, and it is the debut of CM Punk. This was also in the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York. This was ECW held a lot of shows there prior to this, back in their early incarnation or when Heyman owned the company, and they did, I think, both one-night stands. As a matter of fact, I've got them both right here. I pulled out some ECW DVDs. So I've got the Rise and Fall here of ECW. I've got One Night Stand, the second one, and then One Night Stand, the first one. If you guys can see that on camera, I'm not sure. I just thought I'd show those to you guys, and I loved the One Night Stands, especially in 2005. That was one of my favorite WWE pay-per-views of all time. I thought they did an excellent job of recreating the set, the atmosphere, the feel, everything about it, you know, embodied ECW. I thought WWE did a really good job of recreating that in 2005. When 2006 came along, even though it was still a great show, very memorable main event, it was just like way too much WWE. I felt like the first year, it was all the ECW originals. By the second year, you got the Big Show and Randy Orton and John Cena and guys like that having matches where the previous year they kind of like invaded and had the big brawl after. So I wasn't a huge fan of 2006, but the main event and Rob Van Dam beating John Cena like that is still one of the most memorable nights in wrestling history. In the way that crowd, you got to give it to Cena, man. He entered that Lion's Den fearless. That's got to be a scary atmosphere for anybody, and he went in there and did the job. It was fucking awesome. Fortunately, it wouldn't last. We'll talk about that in a minute. Zaya, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Yo, Greg, in my opinion, ECW marked the beginning of the huge decline in quality in WWE, and the product hasn't been the same since. I kind of agree. You know, yeah, I'd say around 2006, 2007, it started getting like frustratingly bad. They had the horrible December to Dismember pay-per-view in December, where I think Bobby Lashley like won the title in some big match. But in 2005, I had such high hopes. You know, when they did the One Night Stand, I'm like, that was one of the best shows I've ever seen. And then the following year, when they decided to do it again and turn that into a relaunch of ECW, give Rob Van Dam the title, I mean, I thought it could have been huge. And I can't tell if it would have just been a disaster regardless. I'm inclined to believe that it would, that no matter what happened with anything behind the scenes, WWE would absolutely fuck this up. But I also think a big part of the problem was how quickly it all got taken away from Rob Van Dam, because right after he won the title at One Night Stand, him and Sabu got pulled over and had weed in the car, and they got arrested, and Rob Van Dam was the WWE and ECW champion simultaneously. So as soon as he got back to TV, how did they do it? They made him drop the world title to Edge, or the WWE title to Edge on Raw, and then I think the very next night he dropped the ECW title to the Big Show, and the Big Show would hold it for the rest of the year up until like the end, right? So I think that's how they worked that out. And if Rob Van Dam would have been able to stay champion, he could have had a good run, because prior to him getting pulled over, I believe he successfully defended the title against Edge, Vengeance, and Kurt Angle on TV. So Van Dam could have had a run. He could have been the champ through the end of 2006. Had that been the case, ECW maybe would have died a slower death, you know, in my opinion, but I think still WWE would have royally screwed it up. And on top of that, you got to remember, right after this show that we're going to review here on August 1st, I would say 3 weeks later, Angle was gone. Angle left and went to TNA, which was a huge loss, because I wasn't really a fan of the old ECW bringing too many main roster guys in that didn't have previous ECW experience. I didn't really like that. I mean, hell, the Big Show, I believe, defended the ECW title, if I remember right, against The Undertaker and Ric Flair. None of that seemed right to me. You know, what the fuck is Ric Flair? Why is he challenging for the ECW title? I just never liked that. I thought that they should have tried to keep ECW that alternative product on the side for the fans that were sick of the main roster shit, but WWE just can't help themselves and they always got to throw Batista. Batista's got a match on the show that we're going to watch here, and all their other WWE guys on there, and it was just kind of ridiculous. So, you know, with RVD getting pulled over and getting busted and stripped of both titles, suspended for 30 days, Kurt Angle then leaving and going to TNA, what did you really have there in ECW? Kurt Angle was the only guy from the main roster that I was okay with joining the ECW roster, because much like he did in TNA, I thought he would shine there. I'm like, all right, finally, like, Angle should be champion all the time. And on the main roster, even a guy like Angle was kind of getting lost a little bit here and there and directionless from time to time. So I think putting him in ECW would have been a great idea had everything held together. And Rob Van Dam never got in trouble. Kurt Angle never had the personal problems and never left. CM Punk joined the scene and became a big deal right away. Maybe you even brought Chris Benoit over and he never did what he did. You know, that would be a pretty core group of ECW wrestlers there had things worked out differently. You know, and you could have had Angle and Benoit and Punk and Van Dam all healthy, all alive, and without any problems. You know, ECW could have gone on a completely different trajectory for sure. So it's a shame. It's a shame that it worked out the way it did, but they were clinging by a thread here. The atmosphere on this show, and we will be starting it in a minute. I just wanted people to hang out in the chat a little bit and get it all prepped up on the network there. But the atmosphere was still good for this. You know, it always is in Hammerstein, but the fans hadn't completely let go and they haven't realized completely yet that this brand is dead. I think they would in a few weeks, but it was still all right by this point. So anyway, hopefully by now you've got the show pulled up on the network here. I'm going to knock out these 2 super chats, and then we're going to start the program. I know I see 2. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's eye. I got you, Ramon Coffee. Good to see you, man. Thank you for the $5. I'll give you a big donation to do a video on my birthday, which is the 19th of May. Can you do the 1994 Survivor Series review? That one is on my list of Survivor Series that I haven't reviewed yet. I've been thinking about it. I remember that one well. I was in Pennsylvania that year visiting family for Thanksgiving, so I wasn't home, so I couldn't like order the pay-per-view. And I remember calling the hotline to find out what happened and having to hear on the phone that Bret Hart lost the title. You can imagine that it ruined my weekend. So I was none too pleased, but I remember that well, and I'll have a lot to say about that Survivor Series. Absolutely, my man. Thank you. Michael Cuomo, good to see you. Appreciate the $5. I actually thought 2006 was one of the edgier years WWE ever had. The Mick Foley and Edge WrestleMania match and the DX barbecue segments. Yeah, 2006 was pretty edgy. I mean, as far as like some of the shit they would say on TV, you know, they'd bring the chicken, Vince loves cock, remember that, and they'd give him the chicken or whatever, and all the crazy stuff they did. Yeah, WWE was still, it wasn't until Benoit happened that they really kind of stopped with the blood and the guts and stuff. But yeah, 2006 was still a very, very bloody year. WrestleMania 22 was a very bloody WrestleMania. Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels match was brutal. Mick Foley and Edge. Can't remember if Triple H was bleeding in the Cena match or not, but yeah, they were still doing kind of risque shit. Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels having the tag team match with God, and Vince goes into the church and drinks the holy water and spits it like Triple H. Like, my God, the shit they were getting away with back then. So yeah, it was definitely an edgy year. Still not as entertaining though. Like, I did not, even in 2006, DX would make me laugh sometimes, but I'm a hardcore original DXer. You know, like, I lived through those years. I went to a lot of shows during the height of DX's popularity, all the way back to their China and Rick Rude days. So for me, nothing was ever going to top that, and anything that they do after, you know, is just a cash grab, you know, to, you know, capitalize on the past, and it would never be as good. And they had their moments. They did funny skits here and there, but it just wasn't as raw. It wasn't as, you know, it wasn't as edgy. I felt like it was almost, you know, forced, a lot less ad-libbing and shit like that. And not that it was all bad. I only liked the original DX, and I never really cared for any other version of it. Anywho, yeah, let's get on with this here. Good to see you too, John and Shell Shock and Raymond. All right, got some more people in here. All right, let me take a sip of Stella. We'll get going here. I'm going to pull up the camera, or the little timer there, so get you guys all set to 0, and we're going to hit play together here in just a minute. If for any reason during the watch along mine buffers or anything like that, I'll pause it, or I'll let you guys see the timer so you can pause and kind of wait for me. We should be fine, but, you know, in a live format, things can always go wrong. So anyway, hope you guys all got all your shit pulled up. Get your finger on your mouse or your button and get ready to hit play. We'll do a countdown of what, like 5? All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. We're playing. All right. The bodies are hitting the floor. I forgot that they used that that song. Let me turn it down so I don't get busted for that song. All right, so we're going through the intro here. I haven't seen this in years. Oh yeah, Kelly. Oh yeah, Justin Credible was in for this. He's who faces CM Punk, I believe. All right, I'm just keeping the intro a little low here so Drowning Pool doesn't copyright strike me. All right, here we go. I'm going into this blind. I haven't really seen this and don't really remember much of it. I had to go into it a little bit here to grab a thumbnail, but that's it. Wow, that is a great looking atmosphere. Holy shit. I miss crowds like that, man. Especially where we are right now in this pandemic. But just look at those people. ECW is not doing that well at this point. And the fans are just rabid. And Batista is getting a world title shot here against the Big Show. To me, that rubbed me the wrong way. All right, let me get this volume right here so I can... All right. All right, Tommy Dreamer and the Sandman versus Mike Knox and Test. I almost forgot about Mike Knox. I forget about guys like Mike Knox and Snitsky, guys like that. All right, here comes... Oh, yeah, here comes the Sandman with that shitty music because they didn't want to pay for Enter Sandman. I'll give WWE props for at least doing it at ECW One Night Stand. I'm assuming that that's probably dubbed over on the network, but I've got the original taped right off pay-per-view from that night. And to see him come out there to Metallica and the fans are going nuts and he's doing his thing. And I don't even like Sandman. It's just... Sandman is a ECW classic. But he's just a... shady son of a bitch. I don't really like him very much as a person. Oh yeah, so Kelly was like Mike Knox's girlfriend or something, right? And then he was being all protective of her. Oh, Kelly with a kendo stick to the face. Oh, girl. You okay? Damn. I thought Kelly was actually a good fit for ECW because they always had women like Kimona and Francine and Dawn Marie and stuff. So you needed that sex appeal on the show, and maybe just, you know, with some new flavor. So I didn't mind. Kelly was one addition that I didn't mind at all. I thought she was a good one. I always like Kelly. Sandman's already bleeding. Kelly was 18 here? Are you sure? I don't think so. I don't think she was that young. Oh, that's right. This is a tag team. Sandman's out there by himself already. Oh, that's right. So she had an exhibitionist gimmick, and he only wanted her to strip for him and no one else. That's hilarious. I would have loved... I've never been up there. I would have loved to attend a show there. I'd be afraid if I was up top, I'd fall off the balcony. Everybody's so crazy up there. Here comes Tommy. Yeah, and Tommy, in ECW, Tommy Dreamer, I think he came out to Alice in Chains. So, he's got a knockoff here, too. CM Punk does coke, I didn't see that. Ew, what? Paul Heyman kissed Tommy Dreamer? Why would they do such a thing? And then Test takes him out. But in case you're wondering where we're at right now, we're at about 4 minutes, 20 seconds in right here, in case anybody needs to do some syncing. All right, so they're doing a big recap of the issue between all these guys, Tommy Dreamer and Test and Sandman and Mike Knox all brawling. Kelly is involved. I'm assuming that Mike Knox is treating her like shit and the baby faces are going to try to help her out. Man, that crowd is jacked, are they not? My God. Shout out to Don Tony. Sign up there from him. All right, Sandman's ready to rock. I miss Test, man. Test was good. Oh, she was 19 then. She was young. I was thinking she was like 22 or 23. That's crazy. Hey, Crash only being a second ahead, that's good in my mind. Because I wasn't even sure if a watch-along would work live. It would be really tough, but, you know, the more I thought about it, I'm like, I will make it work. Now, the Kelly Kelly and Mike Knox did not date in real life. Kelly Kelly dated Test, right? Yeah, Test got real big. I liked Test actually earlier. I liked Test, I think, more when he had the longer hair. I liked him almost right off the bat. Like, he needed some work at first, but he was doing so. He was a big guy, and he was doing some shit. I always thought he was kind of like a lucha libre Kevin Nash. I mean, he could throw top rope elbows and shit, and, you know, he's a little bit more athletic, or a lot more athletic than Nash, but not quite as big. Traded just a little bit of size for a lot more mobility and a lot more athleticism. He didn't have nearly the charisma that Kevin does, but I thought he could have been even bigger than he was in the company, but he was completely roided out of his mind here, as you can clearly see. I mean, if he were to lift any more weights, he would start to look a lot like me. He's got to work out a little more, but he could. Test could have done it. All right, we're looking good over here, just checking my shit. All right. Another thing I didn't like around this time in ECW is so many matches, including probably one here. Because, I mean, we're not giving away spoilers here, but I know Big Show remained champion until the end of the year, so he's not dropping the belt to Batista here later, so I would imagine that's going to be a DQ or something. And there was way too many DQs in ECW. They were happening all the time around this time. And I'm like, come on. Is that Scott Armstrong as a ref? Nice. I almost forgot. I cannot believe this is 14 years ago. This still seems incredibly recent to me. Because I'm old. I love balls sign in the audience. Oh my god, Mike sold that DDT. Yeah, Kelly doesn't age. Know who else doesn't age? Tommy Dreamer. I mean, he does age. He's clearly old, but aside from his, like, body size, he looks pretty much the same. I always loved in wrestling, like, do you ever see those type of trash cans, like, out in the wild? I never see those silver round trash cans, like, sitting outside of somebody's house. Everything's a big, you know, plastic thing on wheels and you roll it out. Nobody has these things. Not even, like, restaurants or not even gas stations. Everybody has, like, a dumpster. Like, those trash cans don't exist. But yet it's WWE manages to find 1 million of them. Oh yeah, let's stack 94 tables under the ring. Oh, God. It's like an ice cream sandwich, but instead of ice cream in the middle, it's barbed wire. Now, how do they make that and get that under the ring when nobody's seeing? God. It amazes me that dragging out a piece of plywood with razors on it gets an ECW chant going. That's all it takes. Ouch. Yeah, I'm sure WWE... Well, the trash cans and too... Oh, just like those cookie sheets. They're not... Like, I work in a restaurant, and those big hotel pans like that, those are not real. Because they don't make that sound. They don't dent. They don't bend like that if you were to hit somebody in the head. They're just made out of aluminum. It's just fucking aluminum foil that's easy to bend and break. So, yeah, they're totally fake, but... You restaurant people know what I'm talking about. The big sheet pans. There's no way that they would bend like that. I can't hear what they're chanting because my volume's so low. I'm sure it's something totally polite. Yeah, I appreciate the fans, like, still being very, very into this. Ooh, God, there's a lot of blood on Test, but I don't think that's him. Who's bleeding? Tommy? Oh, yeah, Dreamer's bleeding hard. God, the blood used to flow back in these days, man. Oh, no, don't cane poor Kelly. She's only 19, apparently. You can go to jail. Sandman's such a douche. That was a strange... When Sandman threw Kelly into the ring, the lighting looked weird on that. Did y'all see that? Kelly, get out of the ring. Alright, well, Knox and Sandman are brawling all the way on the outside of the ring here. Dreamer's left in there. Dreamer, you're a babyface. Act like it. Oh my God, I hear that. I hear what the fans are chanting that time. Yeah, I think we were, what, 7 or 8 minutes into the entire show and we had blood. Or I'm sorry, earlier than that. Because Sandman was bleeding. Ew, God, Tommy. Oh my God, please. Imagine this poor girl. She's so young, and she's bent over this old man's knee, and blood is pouring out of his face onto her ass. And he's got blood all over his hand, and now he's gonna slap her on the ass? This ages well, doesn't it? Like, just this picture here. Just somebody's screenshot. Oh my God. Wrestling. What is wrong with us? Uh-oh, two riot gear dudes said enough of that sexual assault. Just start taking him to school. I forgot who's under these masks. I'm sure they will be revealed. Maybe it's Edge. Oh yeah, Heyman's doing the Messiah deal. Didn't he help the Big Show win the title, I think? Like, turned on Van Damme and shit? Ooh, ouch. Heyman's henchmen just threw Tommy Dreamer right through the plywood with barbed wire on it. Ow, Jesus. Do we know who the riot gear dudes are, or they're just, I forget how that all went. Ben, use that as my thumbnail, I don't know. Oh, that's right, it is. I was just about to say, I'm like, is it the Bashams? Wow, I'm actually happy that that came across my mind. And Test just finished the job and threw Dreamer through. Is this match still happening? Imagine having to wash blood off your butt. Yeah, I'd rather not have to have that happen to me. God, there's blood all over that plywood, too. I forgot Test was kind of using that finisher. All right, so Test and Mike Knox get the win here. Sandman and Knox were gone long before, and then that left Dreamer to spank Kelly. Then Heyman showed up with his Riot Squad guys. They beat the shit out of Tommy, and Test finished the job. All right, so Test and Knox win match 1. No, I don't think anything's happening with the WWE sale at the moment. Dutch Mantel had tweeted that out, and it actually got like a lot of traction. I'm sure the WWE Network rights and the pay-per-view rights are still on the table, but I don't think WWE is being sold right now, and certainly not to two separate companies. If they go to Fox and ESPN, you don't. What does that mean? Al Jazeera is buying WWE. Ratnick, replace the A in Jazeera with an I, and you've got a great porn star name. You're welcome. Our Heyman's backstage. Roadkill is there. Is that Danny Doring? Nunzio? I forgot Francine was even in WWE's version. I guess I remember. Stevie Richards is over there. Oh, Sabu. No, I don't think ESPN and Fox are together. No, I think ESPN is by Disney, but not Fox.
I appreciate everything you've done for ECW, but the Big Show is our champion now, and that's a long-term investment for us. And the Big Show as champion needs our support. Look at you. You're all scarred up.
You're all scarred up. Sabu is just gnarly. Look at him.
I can't subject the Big Show to that. So I respectfully have to say, no. Not tonight.
So Sabu, I guess, is asking for Big Show. He wants a title shot, and Heyman's telling him no. Is that what's happening here? Sabu and Show would work, though. Didn't they work SummerSlam? I think they worked SummerSlam. Sabu's an ass, too. I really, really don't like Sabu and the Sandman. Joey Styles and Taz. I forgot to mention that they're on commentary for this. In case y'all need an update of where we're at. We got Taz and Joey Styles talking about the main event. Batista and Big Show. I'm curious how the fans are going to react to that. Like, if I'm an ECW hardcore, which I kind of was at the time, I'm very resistant to that main event. There's CM Punk. Oh yeah, CM Punk's old theme. I forgot about that. I like that one.
Tonight, there's no more quelling of my passion for competition. Waiting is over. I got the opportunity of a lifetime. Tonight, I debut in ECW. The time is now, and I'm going to make the most of this opportunity.
All right, CM Punk's going to make the most of it. Why is your face so far on one side? I thought he was going to be a good fit for ECW. You know, when they're trying to stock the roster with some new flavor along with the old, I was like, oh, he's going to be perfect. Just incredible. Kind of looks like me, except less handsome. All right, here comes Punk. Yeah, how does the crowd react to him here? Because I know Punk was well known indie-wise. God, he was so different. He was so big. He was so much bigger back then, remember? I think he even said that in the DVD. He's like, I was trying to get big because they want big. Alcohol-free, drug-free, fun-free. I'm kidding. Let me enjoy my delicious, frosty, alcoholic beverage while they talk about CM Punk's straight edgeness. Taz with two Z's. That's right. Justin isn't crazy. Yeah, I don't think Justin's crazy. He's had some problems, though. I think Fightful just did an interview with him like this weekend or something, but I know he's had his share of substance abuse problems and things like that, and I don't know how he's doing these days. Yeah, CM Punk's rise to the top was kind of interesting too. You know, Paul Heyman said told the story for years how he had him down there in FCW, and he was like, you know, you guys should use this guy. And when they did the relaunch for ECW, he was the first one that Heyman wanted. I remember seeing plenty of CM Punk matches. I was concerned how he would do as well, because I remember his reputation in the indies to me was similar to someone like Reckless Youth, but I think CM Punk was a little just better. But he kind of reminded me of him as far as, like, you know, how the fans talked about him. Yeah, I would imagine this match, there's not going to be much to this match because CM Punk isn't much of a flashy wrestler. He's not even that athletic. He can't do, like, he ain't Ricochet, you know? Oh, CM Punk doing a couple. Oh, no, that's Just Incredible doing it. Nice. Northern Lights. Get out of there, son. Damn, that was really close. Just Incredible is from Connecticut. Are you sure? He's the Portuguese man of war. Hey, Jordan. What's going on, man? Good to see you. God, not bad in here. I wasn't expecting any sort of a huge audience tonight for this. I thought it would be under 100 people, so we're doing all right. For those of you that are in here hanging out, you guys want to do me a favor and smash the thumber upper for me? I'd appreciate it. And during this quarantine, as long as I'm out of work, I'll come up here and maybe do a couple of these here and there. It's a good shot of Justin Roberts on the outside of the ring. And there's George Napialiano on the outside, taking pictures as well. I forgot about that referee, too. I always liked him. I don't know, feel sorry for Just Incredible. I don't think, you know, I think he went about as far as he was going to go, you know, in wrestling. He had some good runs in ECW, and he fought the same amount of demons that a lot of guys did. I think WWE could have used him better initially with the Aldo Montoya gimmick and the shit on his head. He was definitely a victim of that, but oh yeah, there's Uranagi into it. Is that going to be? Is he going to tap him out? Oh, he is. He's definitely tapping. Hey, he's tapping. All right. It's a pretty good debut match for Punk. I probably haven't seen that match since it happened. Barely remember. Yeah, fans seem into it. Cody, I've watched a few OSW reviews. Yeah, I like them. Haven't checked out anything from them in a while, but they're cool. Somebody, like, a couple years ago even had said, hey, GoodMicWork, I heard you were mentioned on OSW reviews, but I have no idea which one or when or whatever that happened, but somebody was like, I heard your name dropped on there, but I don't even know what that was about, so. But I've always liked what they do. They're cool. All right. All All right, well, looks like we're getting a little hype package here for Batista and Big Show. Give you guys a little timer shot there in case you need it. So let me see. This was 2006. What the hell was Batista doing? He wasn't in ECW, was he? He was, let me see. Ray won the title at WrestleMania. Was he still champ around this time? I don't even remember what the hell's going on. Gargantuan. I wasn't a huge fan of Big Show being in ECW either, but he did make a little bit of sense because of his history with Paul Heyman going back to like 2002. I don't know what this is here. Oh, Shannon Moore. The Brawler. If there's one guy that is the absolute opposite of ECW, it's the Brooklyn Brawler. What's up, Lombardi? Oh, I think I know who he faces here. That's right, I actually do remember this. Oh, Booker T won the title. Yeah, Ken the Terminator, I can hear the show. I've just got the volume very low. I gotta be careful. Okay, that's right. Booker was feuding with Batista. Oh yeah, here comes Angle. Oh, Angle, you are so fucked. Angle has got to go out there and get in the ring with a badass like the Brooklyn Brawler. Brawler's about to fuck you up, Kurt. You're gonna need more than a mouth guard to defeat this guy, tell you that. Yeah, Kurt was so overrated, way past his prime. He's in there with a superior athlete in the Brooklyn Brawler. Kurt's lucky he made it out of this alive without 2 broken legs before he went to TNA. I wouldn't mess with the Brawler. Anytime, any place, anyone, is that what his shirt says? God, this is so sad to watch this because this is like the end of Kurt. I mean, Kurt had an incredible run in TNA. Classic matches and shit, but still, I wish he wouldn't have left. He had some great matches in TNA, but I think he would have still had some great ones in WWE. And really missed, it just sucked that he went for that long. I almost wish he would have gone to TNA for 3 years and came back. But he went for like 11 years. Welcome back. Did Angle wrestle at One Night Stand? Because he did an appearance, for, you know, back in the day for ECW after he won the gold medal prior to coming into WWE when Taz had brought him in and he got all mad about the crucifixion angle that they did or whatever. Damn, he's just bitch slapping the Brawler. This is such a random match. Why the Brawler? Yeah, I mean, this was Kurt, some of Kurt's best years. I think Kurt's really good years were like, you know, 2000 through maybe 2004. But he was still damn good all the way through, what, maybe like 2012, 2013, before he started really declining. Ooh, damn. That's very reminiscent of Kurt's debut. Brawler was tapping before the move was even fully put on. That's hysterical. Yeah, when Angle debuted in TNA and he headbutted Samoa Joe and busted his shit all up, that was crazy. I forgot they had kind of kicked up Kurt's theme music a little bit and extended the intro a little bit. Kind of forgot about that. Oh, that's right. The previous year at One Night Stand, wasn't Kurt one of the people that was up in the balcony and shit? Damn. Took Brawler right down. Oh my god. Good on Brawler for taking that. Damn. Ouch. I hope they paid him a bonus for that. Fuck. Will WWE ever put ECW wrestlers in the Hall of Fame? There aren't any? I mean, there's plenty of guys that have gone to pass through ECW in the Hall of Fame. But, I mean, as far as people like Sandman and Sabu, I doubt it. I doubt they will ever go into the Hall of Fame. I think they're too dirty of people outside the ring. But somebody like Rob Van Dam will probably go in one day and shit. Dreamer could go in. Because Dreamer was an unsung hero in that whole company. But, like, the Dudleys are already in, you know, and other teams, so... But people who just work primarily in ECW and nowhere else, there's probably not many that could really qualify. I think Raven could. I think Raven's had a Hall of Fame-ish career. Because he was a super memorable character. And he worked all 3 promotions. Who's this? Oh, yeah. What's this girl's name? Ariel? She was with Kevin Thorne, right? Kevin Thorne. You're a sexy vampire, but you're weird. Look at Mordecai. Kevin Thorne, I thought, was decent. He never got much of a chance, poor dude. See, he looks like this gimmick. He looks like somebody should be managed by James Mitchell, although she's much more pleasant to look at. But he just, you know, the Mordecai thing was a disaster. And this wasn't a whole lot better. But despite the crappy, like, gimmicks and stuff, I think the fans were, for the most part, okay with him. It's just, he never found it. Damn, is it time for the main event already? Oh, yeah, Shelly Martinez. That's what her name is. Why did I think her name was Ariel? Yeah, I think Rhino could have done well in the second ECW. He never did much in WWE, but I remember right prior to the first ECW One Night Stand, he got fired. There was something happened WrestleMania weekend, got a big argument with his wife or something in the hotel, and they had let him go, but then I think he returned to do One Night Stand, but had he maybe not had the problems with WWE and stuck around, they could have stuck him in ECW. He could have been all right there. I always liked Rhino. Vince fears New Jack. That ain't a lie. I mean, you notice New Jack is one of those wrestlers that did not... Oh, no, he did. Did New Jack work One Night Stand? Maybe he didn't. I don't remember. I want to say New Jack didn't work. Oh, Crash, you might be right. Did they change the channel here? They're all chanting RVD, who is possibly suspended at this point. Or he was just off suspension. All right, here comes Batista. Yeah, at this time, I'm probably one of the biggest Dave Batista fans now in 2020, but at this time, I was not. I was not sold on him. I was really traumatized, I think, from Brock leaving. And I thought there was no replacement for him. And Batista filled that void of Brock, but he wasn't as good as Brock. And for that, I think I resented Batista, but it's not his fault. Who's as good as Brock? That person doesn't exist. So I think I was almost maybe too tough on him back then. Because now when I look back at Batista's career now, I have a much bigger appreciation for it than I did at the time. And I didn't dislike Batista. I wasn't saying, fire him and Batista. I wasn't treating Batista like the fans treated John Cena or anything like that. He just wasn't like a personal favorite of mine, didn't really care much about him. But now I do. Now I have a whole different outlook on his career and stuff. Yeah, Raymond, we talked about that earlier on. This is right after the big suspension. RVD was probably a couple days away from coming off suspension around this point, because I think this happened. I think he dropped the titles around 4th of July or something, and then they suspended him. So he's probably on the verge of coming back here. Hell, maybe he does a run in here in this match. I don't know. I don't think so, though.
for the ECW World Title.
World, that's all they called it?
The challenger from Washington, D.C., weighing 290 pounds, Batista.
A lot of booze. Joey Styles goes, lots of cheers for Batista here.
Weighing 507 pounds, he is the current ECW World Champion, The Big Show.
They booed both these guys. Yeah, the fans don't seem to be into this match at all. I mean, think about what this ECW audience is used to looking at and watching. And these two fucking elephants are in there tussling around. You both suck. I love that. My computer is making a lot of noise below me. No, we're going to a commercial. We're back from commercial. I'm glad we don't have to watch commercials, right? Aren't you? Another way, in case you're wondering, we're at 30, a little bit past 37 minutes in right now. Sabu chant. Sabu was crazy. Oh, Big Show's on the mic. That's gonna help your cause, Big Show. Yeah, Toxic, I'm with you. If I was a wrestler that was like not universally liked or respected by fans like that, like those specific 800 fuckers, as a wrestler, I wouldn't be scared that any of them could individually hurt me, because I'd kill them. But I think that a bunch of them at once could hurt me. I don't know, though. As rabid as that crowd is, you know, they're so full of shit. Would they really riot? Would they really riot? I know New Yorkers are crazy, but I vote no. I think it's more fun to say you're going to riot than actually fucking rioting. But Cena never won, so we'll never know. I wish you could go back in time and change the past and have Cena beat RVD just to see what would happen. Just to see. Put your money where your mouth is, or put your money where your sign is. And if that's the way you feel, Vince should have called an audible. Fuck it. Have him tap out in 5 minutes, see what happens. If Cena dies, he dies. What are they chanting? I missed it. I know they chanted change the channel. Big Show is stalling a lot on the outside of the ring. Damn, the fans are not into this at all. Barry, is this why you wanted me to do this one? Ooh. They went to commercial. Oh my god, I couldn't hear what they were chanting there. Fans are still going nuts. Same old shit. Damn, the fans are not having a good time here. Oh, I think I see Vladimir in the front row. Ha! I've met him before. Damn, they're flipping him off. My God. Now, it's hard to really defend fans like this, but in their defense, I don't think their frustration is necessarily directed at Big Show and Batista. It's directed at just the situation. The WWE even having this match in a fucking ECW ring is almost sacrilege as it is, under the WWE umbrella or not. To me, it just never was. There was never a place for it. ECW should have at least tried to do more what NXT does. I mean, I know there's a little bit of talent swapping going on these days too, but not like this. You know, ECW should have tried to at least remain its own alternative brand. And I swear to God, if they really cared enough, they could have done it. Put Paul Heyman completely in charge of it. Kind of like Triple H is in charge of NXT, and see what happens. But they couldn't keep their dirty little dick beaters out of the business of ECW. And they're constantly grabbing other pieces of talent and putting them in. Let's put Ric Flair in ECW and have him challenge for the title. That makes a lot of sense. What are they chanting? They're throwing shit. Hope nobody throws a bowling ball in there. Shane Douglas is another guy that would have been cool to see come back for this. If anything, maybe not as a wrestler, because I don't know what shape he was in at the time, but maybe at least backstage capacity. He was doing that in TNA, wasn't he? Wasn't he doing the interviews? I think that's why he couldn't come in. But and plus they were doing the House of Hardcore shows as well, like buddied up with and piggybacking off the one night stands. Because I think the night before the first ever one night stand, they did a ECW reunion show, like an independent. I have it on DVD. I forgot. I don't know if it's House of Hardcore or something else. Hardcore Homecoming, maybe, is what it was. Now, there's a suplex to the Big Show off the second rope, which under normal circumstances would be slightly impressive, but these fans don't give a fuck about that. Yeah, Big Show versus Kane, too. That's right. Yeah, so Big Show, I think, defended the ECW title, if my memory serves, against Kane, Undertaker, Flair, and here against Batista. He actually did defend the title a lot. Big Show retained the title a lot. I don't know how he's getting out of this match here. I'm guessing it's a DQ. There's no way he's beating Batista clean. Ain't no way. And I'm sure if it's a schmoz finish, the fans are going to love that. Ooh, spear! And the fans go nothing. Hardcore Homecoming, thank you. As far as I know, Lil Nate is still in the company. I don't think they're letting him go. They might, though. They let Kyoto go. Choke slam? No way. Oh, he almost got him. The fans are probably like, we were kind of hoping that was the finish. Oh, good. I needed a close-up of Big Show's booger. Appreciate that. Wow, is that Mark Eaton as the timekeeper at an ECW show? How crazy is that? Look how little that belt looks in the hand of the Big Show. Oh yeah, I forgot. It was all... Even it was ECW, the only time you could do ECW rules were in Extreme Rules matches. Where in ECW, you could do this shit in every match. There's a riot sign being held up by a guy that does not look like he's capable of rioting. He'd be the first one to die. He's not going to Alabama slam the animal, is he? Oh, no. That was almost... what's Tommaso Ciampa's finisher? The fuck's that called? Final ending or something? Big Show just hit that on Batista. Scott Armstrong is going to allow this to happen. Ah. Damn. Hit him with the belt and DQ'd. This is the main event. See, that's the thing. Like, Raw and SmackDown and shit, you can get away with this crap because we're so used to it. But ECW should have been the exception to the rule. WWE should have made this a true alternative. Because this was still pre-Benoit. WWE wasn't shying away from tables and blood and guts yet. So they could have done it. They could have had it closer to the original ECW, much closer to the original ECW than what it is on this. A year later, wouldn't have been possible. But, oh, there's Sabu. The fans are happy to see him. That's right. He does work show at SummerSlam, and I know he loses. Damn. Now, wait a minute. Did Sabu not get suspended? He was in the car. I guess maybe RVD was the driver, so Sabu didn't get suspended for that? Didn't even think about that. Oh, and Big Show went through the timekeeper's table. Justin Roberts, look out. Well, at least the fans got a little bit of happiness there with an ECW original. Table slamming the Big Show. All right, and that's it. I think Sabu's music was a little different in WWE too. Oh, that chair almost went flying in the crowd. I don't know, maybe that is his ECW thing. All right, so I guess that was done to set up SummerSlam. They'd probably announce that match in the coming days on TV. All right, and the Big Show lays there, and I guess that's how the show's going to go off the air with Joey and Taz signing off. All right, and that is all she wrote, it looks like. Well, no, we got 30 seconds left. Yeah, John, we were talking about that. We talked about the one-night stand match earlier on. That was just about a month or so before this. Now when I see the Big Show take that bump, I do remember this show a little more now. When did this air? Did this air, like, was it Tuesdays on Sci-Fi, or was it Fridays on Sci-Fi? Wednesday, I think it was Tuesdays. I want to say ECW ran on Tuesdays. I can't remember. It's been so long, 14 years. All right, that is it. Well, I hope that worked for you guys. I hope you guys were able to follow along with me a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I would not grade that show very well. I mean, if you're judging it for the time compared to what we're seeing right now, that was fucking awesome. But, you know, the highlights clearly were CM Punk debuting. Very first match with Just Incredible, which is not a bad match. Very simple and basic and nothing over the top, but still very good. Good showing and good display of who CM Punk was. The Kurt Angle and Brooklyn Brawler stuff was fun. They had a bloody brawl to open the show with blood, table bumps, barbed wire, and sex. And the gnarly spot where Tommy Dreamer is spanking Kelly Kelly and blood is dripping off of his face onto his arm that is then going onto her ass is very strange to watch in 2020. But that had a much more ECW feel than how the show would conclude with the ECW title match between two basically WWE main roster stars in the Big Show and Batista. And that wasn't going to work for me. I can even, like, when you look back at this, I can even almost tolerate the Big Show winning the ECW title. You know, because I understood you need to have a few WWE guys plugged in there. I thought Kurt Angle was a good addition. And after RVD got busted and they had to take the title away from him, I can see using the Big Show as a placeholder given his history with Paul Heyman that dated back several years prior when Heyman turned on Brock and aligned himself with the Big Show. So them doing that again, at least there was a little bit of, you could accept that easier than just like Ric Flair coming into ECW and having a match, and Undertaker on ECW. You know, I love Taker, but he just doesn't fit there. And I think it was just a horrible failure from the word go, and the idea that was probably originally pitched to make ECW a separate alternative brand. Sure, you can put some WWE guys in there if you need to beef up the roster a little bit. Just don't go overboard with it and try to stay as true to the identity of what ECW was, so you can at least retain those hardcore fans and hopefully add a bunch more fans on top of that. But man, it was immediately turned into a third WWE show right off the bat. And like I said, part of that's all WWE's fault, and the fact that they would have fucked up and raped that concept anyway at some point. And the other part of it is because, Rob Van Dam got busted so early on into his title run when he probably would have held the title for a while. And they took it off of him, had to go in a completely different direction, and ECW was completely stripped of its individuality and had no special feelings at all going forward after all that happened. And then on top of that, the good additions like Kurt Angle would leave and go to TNA. And the ECW originals would hang around all the way until the following year. They had the big match at WrestleMania 23, like the big 10-man or whatever it was. But, it just wasn't good. Just wasn't good. Reading some of the comments here. The fans were always fun, though. I enjoyed the change the channel chants. I enjoyed the you both suck chants. That's funny stuff. Sometimes I feel like the fans are a little bit over the top with their sabotaging of shows. They, some of their anger is baseless sometimes, but there's certain situations also where you're really glad that the fans are vocal. And this was one of them. WWE, this was such a fucking joke, man. Big Show and Batista for the title and the main event of your TV show in the Hammerstein fucking ballroom of all places. Yeah. Not good. All right, John, thanks for stopping in and hanging out this evening. Appreciate it, and peace out, man. Diego Perez, by the way, thank you for the super chat rolling in, buddy. Appreciate it. Imagine Roman Reigns wrestling in an ECW at that time with the same character as now. Yeah, I mean, Roman Reigns is basically the same thing as Cena. He has the exact same type of heat. And if he did go into an environment like that, it would be pretty crazy. I couldn't imagine. Especially nowadays, Roman Reigns, who he is, going into the ring against the world's top, maybe indie star or something like that, or somebody that, like a Okada. There you go. Fucking imagine that. You couldn't do that in Japan because the fans over there are adults and they would treat Roman with respect. But if you did that match here, if you did Roman Reigns versus Kazuchika Okada in Madison Square Garden, oh my God. WWE's own hometown, their fucking backyard where they've had so much business dating all the way back, 60 plus years. Their main man would be booed out of the fucking building against a guy like Okada. Where I swear to God, if Roman went to Japan, they would show him respect. They would. They wouldn't shit on him. Say, chant, you suck, and things like that. They wouldn't do that over there because they're not disturbed like we are. Thanks, Spaz, for the $10. Good to see you, man. Movie reviews are coming back thick and fast. Thick and fast. Nice. When your viewers are done with wrestling, Godzilla and Skull Island are up now. Captain America Civil War next Thursday. Hope you are well as always. I hope you were well too, Spaz. It's cool to see you branching out and doing some movie reviews. Might as well, right? Do some other stuff because we all got free time right now. So yeah, go check out his movie reviews if you're into movies. I don't think I've seen any of those movies that you mentioned because I'm not really a movie guy. I don't watch a whole lot. So a lot of times I'm illiterate when it comes to that. Yeah, and if any of you were not able to follow along here, you can just rewind the video and watch this, as a regular video. It's still possible to do the watch along here after the fact for those of you who might just be tuning in now and saying, oh, what the fuck is GoodMicWork doing up here? And what's going on? Michael, you're still working, huh? Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad some people are not completely under house arrest. Yeah, Victor, you bring up a good point too. I mean, as bad as and the problems I saw from this show, I was also looking at this show through 2006 eyes and what I remember of it. Now, when you compare that show to what we just saw there to now, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Even though I think most people would reject that Batista Big Show match, it was still a memorable show, and the atmosphere and the crowd and their energy, couldn't be matched. I think it was just being inside that building. They were going to be ready to go no matter what. And I think WWE needs to, there were times where I thought they did a poor job of like really recognizing their audience. I thought they did a good job at times. The best job they ever did of recognizing who their audience was at the very first ECW One Night Stand, where they kept that thing very traditional, and it was awesome, and the fans loved it. But fast forward a year, and WWE, they just can't resist. It's in their damn DNA. Anything that has a glimmer of hope of being good, they will ruin, squash, fuck up, and overdo it, and erase any and everything that made it special in the first place. It's there's no one better at doing that than WWE. But yeah, still, when you go back and look at the show, just the fan energy there alone was enough to really make me long for days like this. Even though by then I think WWE was in the decline around 06 and stuff. Things started getting kind of shittier around this point. But it was still, I think, better than what we're used to seeing now in modern times in 2020. All right, let me check everything else out here. All right, I think that is going to be it for us this evening. Everybody shout out Barry MK400. He was responsible for making this video happen. I appreciate you, Barry, as always, taking care of us over here on the channel. And you picked a really fun show and random show to watch. And that's what I like about some of these, is it allows me to watch or review shows that I probably wouldn't choose to do on my own. And so far, every time I've done one, I've enjoyed it. And I got a couple of Patreon reviews that are coming up. One of them is going to be a live stream from awesome supporter Reese Jones, who's in the chat here sometimes. That's going to be a live review coming up in a couple of weeks. And then I got a full-blown review, like podcast-style review, on Wrestling Society X. Does anybody remember this promotion? I think I kind of remember it, like maybe seeing advertisements for it or commercials, but I never watched it. And a lot of people worked there, including like Seth Rollins. It was a very different type of production. I believe it aired on MTV in 2007 for like 10 episodes. They were like 20 minutes long each. It was edited similar to maybe a Lucha Underground, but it was like almost done with like a basic home computer editing software like Final Cut or After Effects or something, where you can, do explosions when a guy falls through a table. A very strangely produced, and quite frankly, just from my 5 seconds of watching it, it looks bad. So we're going to have a fun time reviewing that once I finish watching the episode and get my notes written. I'll do a review, so look for that on the channel sometime in May, probably in just a couple of weeks. I'll get that knocked out, and if anybody has any specific memories of that, or any specific match or angle I need to take a look at, let me know. Otherwise, I will be skimming through all 20 episodes, or all the episodes that they have, and writing down some thoughts and what I thought of it, but it looks a little bit crazy. So anyway, those are the next two that are on the calendar this month in terms of donation videos and things like that. Diego Perez, I got you already. I wanted to answer a couple more super chats. I'm trying to find them. There's another one from Spaz. Thank you, man, for another one. I'm still working. I think after the pandemic is over, people will look past just medical and emergency folks when the term essential is thrown around. Yeah, I agree with you on that totally. Yeah, and anybody that does have to work and is going, out into the world, you are risking yourself. Even if your contact with others is relatively light, depending on what you do, just still being out in the world is putting yourself at risk before we get vaccines, drug treatment, testing, and all of that. And it's still a risk that you have to take. And I think people need to be mindful of that and appreciative of the people that are out there, that are in a situation where they have to be out and working. I don't like being out of work. It's driving me absolutely crazy. But to be honest, I don't really want to be open right now either. At the restaurant, I'm not comfortable yet being around a bunch of people. And I don't think, general public is either, ready to start going out to restaurants and shit. So, we're still right in the thick of it here. I think things are getting better in terms of, the numbers, and the death toll is still climbing, obviously. But, there's been some good news lately. The curve is not flattened or anything, but, we're seeing some better numbers a little bit, even though more people have died from this pandemic here in the United States than Vietnam and 9/11 combined, which is horrible. It's still a lot of people, but I think some of the numbers are starting to turn in a little bit better direction. We're getting little bits of good news, some breakthrough on a drug that's going to help treat this. And, if the testing gets the way it needs to be to where everybody can have easy access to that, we can slowly start getting back to normal at some point. But you got to remember, we're only 5 or 6 weeks into this. My last day at my job was March 15th. So yeah, about 6 weeks now. And some people are acting like, I was kind of thinking in my head, this was going to be something that was going to last like 6 months. And we're only 6 weeks in, and you already got people flipping out saying we need to reopen everything now, and I just don't think that that's safe yet, unfortunately. I think we should not base anything on ideology. You know, you should just do what's smart. Just not be a dumbass. That's all, you know, when it comes to this stuff. You know, it shouldn't matter, you know, what political party lines you fall under. Everybody should want the same thing, and that is not to die and not to be a dumbass. And, you know, whether you're right or left shouldn't have anything to do with anything. If anything, this type of thing should bring us all together, and it's the exact opposite of what's happening, which is why this country sucks. So let's hope that we can just do better here, and let's just hope that everybody stays safe and we get through this, we get on the other side, and we can get back to life as usual at some point. But we also have to do the right thing and be smart as well. So however you guys are holding up these days in the pandemic, I hope it's all going well for you. And thanks for hanging out with me on Quarantine TV. All these extra nights here on the GoodMicWork channel. It's been fun. Whose 30th birthday is it? Everybody's wishing somebody a happy birthday. Oh, DA 30. It's my birthday. I'm finally 19. 19. You are a lucky son of a bitch. Enjoy it, my friend, because it goes rapidly fast. And you're going to learn that because in 6 months, you're going to be 40 and you're going to be like, what the hell happened? I was just 19 the other day. But anyway, have a good one, man. Enjoy the final year of your teenage years because after that, shit gets real. Happy birthday to you, my man. And thanks for joining us tonight. So that's going to wrap it up for me. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Barry, thank you again, my man, for sponsoring this video. As always, you are the lead sponsor. I think you've done more videos than anyone else. You've got to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 now, dating all the way back to the last year or two when I was doing these. Barry has also had some interesting reviews in the past. Barry, if you're still here, help me out. I think the funniest review you had me do was a year or two ago on that Britney Spears show. Or not Britney Spears. What was it? Britney Spears' sister's show. Now I can't remember what the hell it was called. Anyway, I did a review on that. You can find it on my channel and the donation Patreon video playlist there. I think I did the Monday Night Raw Homecoming back in 2005 for you. The Eddie Guerrero DVD, the Vince McMahon DVD. I'm doing all these by memory here. But you've had some good ones throughout the years, and I've got a playlist on the channel right now you guys can check out. I think it's under donation reviews and videos or whatever the hell the playlist is. You can find all that stuff there. So check them out, especially that, why can't I think of it? Chloe, is that what it is? Is it Chloe? Maybe it's Chloe. I can't remember what the name of that show is. Oh, Zoe. Thank you, Barry. Zoe 101. Chloe. I was close. Chloe. Yeah, Zoe 101. I know that sounds crazy, but he wanted me to review a specific episode of that. I'd never seen the show, never heard of the show, never knew the show existed. I don't even think I knew Britney Spears had a sister. And apparently there was a show on that involved wrestling, and he said, watch it. I had to buy it. I actually recently saw it on my purchases list on Amazon. I had to buy the episode for $1 because I had no way of watching that shit. And watched the episode and reviewed it, and it's on the channel right now. So check it out. It's hilarious. Apparently, a lot of my listeners, a lot of my audience knew of that show, were familiar with it, and used to watch it. Where me, I was just way too old for that by that point. But it was fun and an interesting review. And if you're looking for something different on the channel, that definitely qualifies. And Barry was the reason for that. Oh, yeah, Crash. The tiers are over on the Patreon page. Like a live stream like this is a $75 donation, and I'll review a show, or I'll do a short watch along or something like that if you want. And then $150 for a full-blown podcast review that I will edit and upload and put on the podcast sites and all of that. So you've got some options over there. Only if you want to support the channel, though. This is just for fun. This is just like extra stuff to do. It's not a big deal. No stress, no pressure at all. You are more than welcome to hang out here completely for free and enjoy my content. All I want is your eyes, your ears, and your likes. If you guys can hook me up with that, I would greatly appreciate it. And then to the rest of you who do take part in supporting the channel in other ways, you have no idea how appreciative I am. All right, so that's it for me. I'm out of here. I will be up here. What the hell is today? Help me, guys. It's Thursday, right? Okay, it's Thursday. So I will be up here Saturday, 5 p.m. on the West Coast for me, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Barry, 2 p.m. for you in Hawaii. I'll be up here for a brand new Winged Eagle podcast, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about, including what took place on this past week's TV, Raw, NXT, AEW. We got SmackDown tomorrow night. We had a couple of more releases announced, one of them being Curtis Axel today, which is sad. We might get a little bit more by the time we get to Saturday. and we'll have some stuff to discuss. And we got a big week of TV next week. We got Adam Cole defending the title against Velveteen Dream. Still no new information on him and what was going on there with some of the accusations towards him last week. So we'll get everything together and get everything organized, and we'll have a really fun podcast on Saturday. And I hope you guys can join me. So thanks for hanging out tonight. You guys be good, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Peace.